Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor, where we preview the best of the action from Sandown and Haydock this Saturday. Joining me in the studio as ever, and it feels like as ever now, to be honest, Dec, because just you and me once again in here.
That's it. Boswell's he's on another half day, isn't he? It's like he's given up on the show, but he's tipping a few winners every couple of weeks now, and he thinks he's made it. So, as ever, Katie, we're going to carry the can this week.
Exactly. We are from the studio at least, but we do have the super sub himself, though. Chris Poole is joining us. So, Chris, great to have you with us. You've let Sam go off on his jollies once again. Then we're wishing him all the luck in the world in Germany once again. So, you've been drafted in to find us the winners.
Yeah, he's incredible, Sam, isn't he? He's got a book of excuses. Maybe it's because he's managed to tip a couple of winners. Maybe he's just enjoying his readies. I've got more time than most of the subs that Southgate brings on anyway.
That is very true. Yeah, exactly. We're not leaving it for 1 minute to go Ivan Toney style then. Chris Poole coming in, setting up the winning goal. We will wait to see if that unfolds, of course, this Saturday. Well, Chris and I will anyway, Dec. You probably won't be quite as interested.
No. I actually got England in the Friends WhatsApp group, so yeah, I'm 3 lines all the way at the moment, yeah.
3 lines all the way, yeah, very much so. Well, great to hear that, even if it's for different reasons.
Correct.
But of course, we have been in good form, though. The triple nap was landed last week on the show. So
that's it, yeah. What's rare is wonderful, definitely for my case. Yeah, I've been in poor form the last 3 or 4 weeks. So it was nice to see the nap eventually go in, and the nap trick went in for the 3 of us, so happy days.
Happy days. Hopefully, we will be doing exactly that again then this week. But before we get into the action again properly, a reminder as ever to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will also do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, on with the action, and we begin at Sandown with the 150. This is the charge for sprint for Group 3 contest, 3-year-olds and over 5 furlongs. So speedsters to the fore and then some in the charge, Dec. So would you like to kick us off, please?
Yes, we will. It looks like there's going to be a headwind at Sandown tomorrow, and this is a race that's going to be run at a strong gallop. Living the Dream will go forward. Desperate Hero will go forward. Apollo 1 won't be too far away, and neither will Equality. And I just wondered, on softening ground into a headwind, run at a strong gallop, could this all set up for a closer? And I'm going to take a bit of a flyer here with that Unbreak My Heart for the Clive Cox team. Now, she has a good bit to find, absolutely no doubt about that, but I think the race sets up really well for her. She's a really strong travelling filly, I just think you cannot go quick enough for her. Jim, they'll be able to get plenty of cover as well tomorrow, and she was quite unlucky last time out at Sandown into a similar race another day that they had a pretty strong headwind there. She just got no run at all. Now, like I say, she needs to progress, but she's pretty versatile ground-wise. She's got course form, and the Clive Cox team are in great order at the moment. I think they're operating at around a 22% strike rate. 3-year-olds have also won 5 of the last 10 renewals, and she's got a good pedigree as well, being a half-sister to Heartache, who was a very good sprinter for Clive Cox. So I'm hoping for a bit of a pace meltdown into a headwind for Unbreak My Heart to break the hearts of the market leaders.
To break the hearts of the market leaders, a nice price to boost as well. She is fast, isn't she? As we've just been seeing on the VT there. So
yes,
really
she loves the game.
Yeah, that's it. She was almost going too fast for her own brain to work then, as we could just see at Bath there. So speed, no problem for her to be able to pick them off, hopefully then in the closing stages. Well, maybe not quite so hopefully then, Chris, because Dec's put us up a bit of a flyer there at a decent price. Are you also taking on the head of the market?
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with Dec here. All I could see was a pace burn up. I mean, obviously, living the dream only knows one way to run. I thought it was disappointing last time as well. And yeah, I can definitely see a pace burn up here. I didn't know about the headwind, but also what we did mention, and Dec just touched on it there, is that the ground could soften a bit. There is a lot of rain around this morning, so that could easily get into the ground, but it probably will get into the ground. So I was going to put up Twilight Calls for the same reason as Dec, really, that I can see Living the Dream getting in a pace burn up, Desperate Hero, Apollo 1, all like going from the front. It's definitely going to be coming back at the end, I think, and hopefully Ryan Moore can tuck it in. Got the draw in 1. I mean, 1's not as good as it sort of used to be at Sandown, but I still don't think you want to be too wide on the straight track, and Living the Dreams in 9. I thought he ran all right in the King's Stand. To be fair, he hasn't looked like winning for a while, but he's always kept top company, and I thought maybe Ryan Moore could win it. But I respect his opinion on Unbreak My Heart as well, and I thought Makarova had a chance, but I definitely would be against Living the Dream.
Oh, against the favourite then, Twilight Calls, who we know has all the ability in the world to be going in here, but it's just the horse that I find so tricky to keep siding with. He just seems to find trouble for fun, this horse. He'll have the ability to win it.
He does. I heard Henry Candy saying at the start of the season that he's had issues with his sinuses, so maybe that's why he's a little bit in and out. But yeah, he was high up on my shortlist as well, Twilight Call. So that's me and Chris.
I know, some sort of agreement then going on between the pair of you two. So we're starting well enough. So I'm just going to completely smash through the middle of that. And Living the Dream for me, which I'm a glutton for punishment. This is the exact opposite of a horse, really, that I want to be siding with. We're going to look back at him. We've shown this a few times on the show already. Back to Santa Anita when he finished 4th in the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. With the running style that you've both spoken about there, that might potentially be to his detriment in this, that forward-going style where he even blew the Americans away with the expectation that they had for European sprinters going over stateside with the early pace that he has. Just collared in the closing stages on this occasion to finish 4th in the end, but still a solid run all the same, just showing his class. And I'm just hoping that class advantage will come to the fore again with him. Now, of course, I was against him on his reappearance start in the Temple Stakes, knowing the lengthy campaign he was going to have ahead of him for the rest of the season. Thought he's not going to be 100% tuned up on his reappearance start. Then, despite market weakness, he runs an absolute blinder. So I thought, right, second start then, back over the same course and distance, down in grade to listed company. Surely this is going to be an absolute good thing. And Chris, you said yourself that you had sided with him on that. I was so confident with him last time out, so really disappointed. I know he bobbled at the start.
Yeah.
I know he didn't get the unpestered lead then as well.
Into a headwind as well that day.
Into a headwind, which potentially might be a danger at Sandown on Saturday. So you can find ways to forgive him, but it was disappointing. So this is going to be just another chance for me to prove that he is the best of them. When you can get across to that inside rail, can so often be very difficult to peg one back. So hopefully some sort of traffic issues for both of your selections.
No,
and Living the Dream will come through and prevail. But just as a reminder that it is Twilight Calls then for Chris. Unbreak My Heart for Dec, and I'm going to side with Living the Dream. Hopefully class will prevail, but let us know in the comment section below who you fancy as we move on to the 225 at Sandown. This is the Coral Challenge handicap, 3-year-olds and over a mile. Fiercely competitive betting heat, 5-1 the field. Chris, which one are you keen on in this?
Yeah, well, I thought Holloway Boy had a really good chance here. I thought he ran very well in the Hunt Cup. Obviously, it was his first time in a handicap, down to a mark of 105. I still think it looks like a horse that's got more ability than a 105 horse. Saw less daylight than a mole in the Royal Hunt Cup, and I think Sam Jones could probably ride that one again. It might have got a fair bit closer. Certainly wouldn't have won, but sure we can see that now. He didn't get a very good run through, but obviously the Hunt Cup's a very strong event. It is a little bit of a tricky ride. I get that, but I thought he had the look of a solid chance here. It's a tricky race, of course. It's a tricky race, but I do like him all the way, Boy, and I think he might be able to prove he's better, still better than a handicapper on Saturday.
Yeah, he's just lurking around that 6-1 price as well at present, but he has had glimmers of market support in then for him since the time of declarations. But like you say, he hasn't always shown that he's been entirely straightforward. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh upon that, but he's a horse where I feel that everyone thinks that we haven't seen the best in him yet. So Holloway Boy, I can imagine he's going to have a lot of fans.
Was it him who hung badly across the track in a Goose Rodens win in the Futurity at Donny?
Good shout.
So yeah, he definitely has a little bit, like Chris, he's got a bit of a kink in him.
There you go.
A few quirks.
You in agreement though over Holloway Boy or elsewhere?
No, I'm not, but he was on the short list because I think the race hopefully will be run to suit him. There's not loads of strength and depth in terms of pace here, but with Point Linus in here, you'd like to think they're going to go a good even gallop because he's quite free going. Too tempting, I suppose. You'd like for him to be kept keep him honest on the front end, just so he doesn't get a freebie. But I thought the race would set up really nicely for a horse who does really well at Sandown in Classic for the Richard Hannon team. Like his run here last time out at Sandown was incredible. He gave the field a huge head start, and I think to only be beaten a neck by Too Tempting was an incredible run. You know, in terms of like upgrades and sectional upgrades and all that kind of stuff, you'd have to give him a massive upgrade for the effort. And I just, his course form at Sandown is good. I think he's been here 4 times and he's run 4th. He's won. He's finished 9th on seasonal debut when he wasn't at his best, and then last time out he finished 2nd. I think the smaller field here is going to be much in his favour, because it means him and Pat Dobbs can't give the field too big of a head start, and 4-year-olds have won 4 of the last 10 renewals. So I think Classic for the Richard Hannon team can go really well here, and I know someone on this panel is in agreement.
Well, to be fair, no, I've only got me left, so I hope it's me at this point. But yeah, I'm with Classic as well, where initially looking at this race, and you've just touched upon the pace perspective, I thought, well, Point Linus, I know there's a few other horses that might well be ridden prominently, but Point Linus, I'm expecting to get that fully uncontested lead, and thought, well, the way that Sandown's been riding of late, surely if he can get onto the lead, then it's going to take an awful lot of pegging back. However, he is drawn out in stall 10. That's going to make his life an awful lot more difficult for Point Linus. So I was happy to leave him where he was. And like you say, I'm also then with Classic as well. And he just looked back to the top of his game, didn't he? With that second last out over this course and distance, beaten by Too Tempting, only beaten a neck. Too Tempting, far better positioned. Classic, his own worst enemy then in that, having to pick his way through the field. Getting £1 from Too Tempting, now getting £2. So if you're really strict on your weights and measures, you can maybe draw some sort of conclusions from that. But like you say, the fact that Classic can be marked up for that run more so than anything else is the reason I want to then be with him. We're both with Classic, and then Chris is taking us on with Holloway Boy. Now do let us know again in the comment section below who you fancy. And before we move on to our next race, a reminder as ever to like and subscribe to At The Races YouTube channel so you never miss an episode. Now we're on to the big one itself, the feature race of the weekend. This is of course the Group 1 Coral-Eclipse, 3-year-olds and over 10 furlongs. City of Troy, all eyes will be on him, of course, after his incredible success in the Derby, bouncing back from his Guineas disappointment and then some, dropping back down in trip to the 10 furlongs. So, Chris, I mean, he's a hot favourite in this to give Aidan O'Brien a record-extending 8th win in the race. But traders-wise, are you keen to take him on then in this?
I wouldn't say keen to take him on, really. To be honest, you know, 4 to 11, 1 to 3, is short enough, but do you want to back the field at 3s? Probably not. I mean, it's a bit of a disaster of a race for us poor old bookmakers if all 8 stand, because the dead 8 is a pretty much a disaster when you've got an odds-on favourite. So obviously the each-way angle for the each-way thieves is there. I couldn't back it at the price. I can't come in here and tip a 1 to 3 favourite, to be honest. I think it'll win, but from a selection point of view, I thought up our Riffer each way just because I think you've probably got, if you're going to have a bet in the race, I think probably your angle is, if all 8 run, that you're better off having an each way bet or even betting without the favourite to get a little bit of value. And I thought our Riffer had a little bit of a chance. I wasn't too keen on Ghostwriter. Sorry, Ghostbuster. On Ghostwriter and Dancing Gemini, I'm definitely not convinced with. I thought our Riffer had run well. I see you've got the betting without up there. I think 8 to 1's a very fair price betting without, to be honest, on our Riffer. Like I say, no real chinks in the armour of City of Troy from our point of view. A race that we probably can't win on, to be honest, with the each way angle. But there you go. Would have rather have 7 run. But I'm not going to moan about it. It's a cracking. Let's be fair. It's great that City of Troy has turned up, because it wouldn't be at half the race if he wasn't running. And it's been a great race over the years, the Eclipse, and I'm hoping for a very good renewal again.
This is why we might need Chris Poole back every week, because every now and again I like these betting without favourite markets. But when you when you say it to Sam, the toys come out of the pram like. You said it to Chris, he's got it up straight away. So that's just if you don't fancy back and City, you try it 1-3 or whatever he is. That's a nice. If you take him out of the race, I think it's a really good betting race.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, much to Chris's disgust, though, 8 runners in this. So, Dec, are you getting out the balaclava for the filthy each-way play?
No, we'll see. I think I'll have a bet without. But what do we make of City of Troy? I wouldn't be totally convinced that the drop and trip will bring out the very best in him. I thought he also had a tough race in the Derby. He travelled so strongly off a strongly run race, and he hit the line so well. You know, he can't have had an easy race in the Derby. I do think if he is going to win the Eclipse, he'll probably win it a little bit like Golden Horn did. That, you know, something will probably get to his girts 3 out and 2 out, and maybe travelling a little bit sweeter than them. But the further they go, the better they win. And this is a lovely little graphic that our team have done for the Eclipse, the Derby winners in the Eclipse. So as you can see there's been a couple turned over at short prices. Reference Point was turned over at even money. Arab was turned over at 4-6. Motivator at 2-5. Authorised at 4-7. So, you know, is history going to repeat itself? I'm not sure. I think he's obviously, the betting market suggests he's the most likely winner. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him back.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing him back. But like I say, that roll of honour, though, for horses that have won the Derby and then to go on to the Eclipse. I mean, from what we've seen of horses trying to attempt to do the double, let's say they haven't been all that far away, but we have had those upsets. This would be a significant one, though, at this current price for City of Troy, all the same.
Absolutely, yeah. But especially with him dropping and tripping, you look on such a straight. I reckon they'll go forward with him. I reckon that he won't be held up like he was in the Derby. I wouldn't be surprised if Hans Andersen was in there as a bit of a dummy runner. Everyone will think he'll go off like the clappers and sit back. Meanwhile, Ryan Moore's going to slide up on the front end and maybe either make the run in himself or just sit off Hans Andersen's girts. But look, in terms of a bet, I'll go with Ghost Rider without City of Troy. I just think he's a really likeable horse. So much went wrong for him in the Guineas. He knuckled on, as the stalls opened, he took a bump. He then knuckled on landing. Then he got another bump later in the race. I don't think he liked the Newmarket track either. He was outpaced, unbalanced, and I just thought, considering how much went wrong for him, he ran really well. And this day in the Prix de Jockey Club, I think he ran really well again. I just think this soft and heavy ground is not for him, is it? Even though he's by Invincible Spirit, he couldn't pick up and quicken like he usually does. But I thought he stayed pretty well. I think getting back onto a quicker surface at Sandown on Saturday will suit him. And I'm hoping if City of Troy wins, this will be the horse to chase him home.
So without market, then again for you, yeah. This is what you've wanted this whole time. Was just I love
the without markets, because if you take an odds-on favourite out of it, it opens up the whole race completely from a betting perspective.
And interesting, the way that the market is formed then in the without market with the joint favourites in that sense. And one of those is Dancing Gemini as well, which I will also be going to the without market and backing this horse for this as well, because of course with the each way availability to us with the 8 runners in here, it doesn't really interest me, because I feel that I'm just going to be chucking away the win part of the bet, even with that slight potential fragility then from the Guineas run for City of Troy. But Dancing Gemini, hopefully Kieran Schumacher can get a nice tune out of this lad for Roger Teal, following his cracking run on his reappearance second at Longchamp in the French 2000 Guineas, which he arguably could have won as well. Then last time he just got chucked about all over the place. We talk about horses that get into boxing matches. He definitely had that in the Derby last time out, up markedly in trip. The stamina question was there and then some, and I don't think he quite got the mile 4. So back to 10 furlongs should surely see him at his best, and he ran much better than the bare result at Epsom. And we talk about, of course, the ages across all of our different races so far and the trends. This is probably one of the more obvious ones. The last 3 years, 3-year-olds have won the 3 runnings of it. So 3-year-olds to be keeping on side. Hopefully Dancing Gemini without. But one last question then for you, Chris, just to chuck at you, because people will want to hear this. Just how big of a liability for BetVictor this week will City of Troy be?
Oh, it won't be. It won't be much. I mean, people are not really going to be smashing into a price like that. It'll be the cornerstone of multiple bets if people are doing short price multiple bets, but it won't be. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the each way ones might even be a worse result. I mean, if it was 4-6, 64, it'd probably be a terrible result, but it's just that little bit too short to get people smashing into it. I don't think it'll be too bad a loser, to be honest.
Right, that is our look ahead then to the Eclipse. Again, let us know in the comment section below who you fancy, but hopefully we've given you some different angles and some different ways to play the Eclipse itself. Right, we look north now as we head up to Haydock. This is for the Group 2. Lancashire Oaks comes up at 240, 3-year-olds and over a mile 4. Tiffany heads the betting at 12-5. There you go, Rick. See one of your favourite prices in there in a bid to continue this winning sequence. 4 on the bounce. Quick turnaround, though, Dex. So that's probably one of the biggest questions she has to answer.
Yeah, it is a question, yeah. I think absolutely on form. She's the right favourite and takes a fair chunk out of the mark, but I think correctly so on form. As you say, Katie, returns quickly. The other thing I'd noticed as well, it's going to be the further she's ever run in her career. She can be a little bit gassy, a little bit keen. And, you know, I think when you factor all that into potentially rain, softened ground, because I think Haydock could get rain as well, you just wonder, could stamina ebb away late in the day? And I'm hoping it does, because I'm going to take her on with Lady Boba, who finished second in the Leicester Piggott Stakes over this course and distance last time out. This is her run last year at Fontainebleau as a 3-year-old, and this was, as you can see here from the ground, was really soft ground. I think if the rain does come there, it won't bother her at all. She's pretty ground versatile, to be fair to her. But it was interesting, Rafe Beckett said, you know, she was a hard filly to train last year. They couldn't get stuck into her. I just get the feeling with her this season, this is her in front now, by the way, she could take a big step forward. Now, I think she took a big step forward last time out at Haydock in the Leicester Piggott Stakes, and I think she'll take another step forward. I fancy her to reverse the form with Queen of Pride for a couple of reasons. Queen of Pride had a run under her belt. I think softening ground is going to be against Queen of Pride as well. And the other thing is, in that race at Haydock last time out, it was pretty tactical and she came from further behind. I just think Ross Ryan, she's quite straightforward, will probably ride her a little bit more prominently, track the pace, maybe sit in front of Queen of Pride, and I'm hoping she can win.
OK, Lady Boba then for you. But like I say, it's that form line, isn't it, from Haydock between her, Sea Theme, Queen of the Pride. Slightly muddling affair to know which one's going to prevail. But Lady Boba then for you. Chris, so the deck is looking at that form line then from Haydock. But of course, none of those horses that were in that contest are favourite. That is the way of Tiffany for Sir Mark Prescott. So quick turnaround for her. Do you fancy her or not?
I do. I'll be honest with you. This wouldn't be the sort of race with my punting boots on that I'd be smashing into. I find these very difficult. But she just looks a completely different filly this year, and I mean, it's really impressive at Newcastle, I have to say. And I don't think a mile 4 is going to be a problem on breeding. I do get Dex Point a bit free. But yeah, I thought it's a token selection for me. I'm going to put up Tiffany. I didn't think I'd be alone. If anyone, it's a long time ago since Tiffany was a songstress. But I don't know if it's named after the. I don't know if it's named after her. But I mean, look, the further she goes at Newcastle, the better, the further clear she went. Just look, I mean, last year, if you looked at her debut run, you'd have thought this is a nothing horse. I mean, it's. I think it finished like 5th or 6th in a Class 5 at Southwell. It didn't look any use at all. But once these fillies start improving, there's no telling how good they'll be. And she surprised me a little bit at Newcastle. And I thought, like Dex says, the second and third in the market, very little between them. So a different form line's Tiffany, but it wouldn't be with any great confidence. I would be against Forest Fairy. You know, I don't know what to make of her after the Oaks, to be honest. At all, and I wouldn't fancy her, but you know, I respect what he's put up there, and Tiffany's just sort of a token selection for me.
Yeah, I'm with Tiffany though as well here to continue this winning sequence. Going around the houses again with this race, came back to who I think is for class angle, and that is going to be Tiffany for Chris and I. And Deck, just to reiterate.
Yeah, I'm going to go Lady Boba, please.
Lady Boba, and hope that Rossa has chosen correctly. Right, again, do let us know in the comments section below who you fancy for the Lancashire Oaks as we head over to the Sky Pad to give you our best bets for the weekend. Now, the all-important part, our best bets for this weekend. And again, our best bets, our naps are going to be boosted on the website. So make sure to head to the website to take advantage of that or to utilise the QR code either way, Deck. So which one are we boosting for you?
Yes, I think the boost is going to be Ghost Rider, but Chris is going to boost him in the place-only market. So if people are interested in that, make sure you check out the weekend winners page on BetVictor, please. But the nap for me is going to be in the good old-fashioned without market. So it's going to be Ghost Rider without City of Troy. Let's hope City of Troy is an absolute superstar and Ghost Rider could chase him up. I would say 13 to 8 is pretty skinny. This, if you take City of Troy out of this, it's definitely more open. I would like probably about 9 to 4 if I'm being honest about Ghost Rider, especially if all that rain comes. And then the next best is also going to be at Sandown. It's going to be Classic, an incredible run over this course and distance last time out. Smaller field should suit as he shouldn't get too far behind, and there's a little bit of pace in there as well. So he will do for me. And then the Longshot, I think this horse is brutally overpriced because it's a former German based runner, bought for 200,000 by the Jamie Osborne yard. But there are various bits of her form that do not make her anywhere near a 50 to 1 shot. Not only that, she is a front runner and she could get an easy lead on the front end. As long as the ground doesn't get brutally soft at Haydock, I can easily see her running into the 3. So hopefully we get at least 8 runners in the race.
50 to 1 then, like you say, just to make sure that we do have the 8 runners, though, to be trying to take advantage of that. 50 to 1, though, for such an expensive purchase as well. Chris, no pressure for the long shot, but 50 to 1 now. Deck's kind of stunned me a little bit. So where are we looking for your best bets?
Yeah, it stunned me a bit there. 50 to 1, it's probably the biggest price that's gone up on the show, I'd imagine. Yeah, I'm going to go with Holloway Boy as my nap. I made out a good case for that. I think in the race at Sandown, like I say, I'd go back over what I've just said. There's no need for that, but I do think it represents a fair price at 6 to 1. Soprano, I think, is extremely solid in the 3 o'clock. I think George Bowy's found the trick for this filly now. Clearly, Musselburgh the run before, which was a really good race. Ybarra won that, and that one again afterwards. Gave it a little bit too much to do possibly at Musselburgh, but it showed that it got home. And then in the Britannia, in the Sandringham at Ascot, I thought it won that pretty cosily, to be honest. And that's a very, very good performance. I thought that represented a fair bet at 2 to 1. I think that'll be winning at Sandown. And the long shot, yeah, I was struggling a little bit, to be honest. So I'm going to say I'll refer each way. I don't see it lower in the colours of City of Troy, but you've always got that slight chance. And I just feel that it's been the target, and I'm not sure a few of these the Eclipse has been the target, and I think our Riffer will run a decent race.
Yeah, he's a big price as well. He has been readily dismissed in the market at 25 to 1 then for our Riffer. But the horse that I was mainly focusing in on, Chris, that you were speaking about there, was your next best bet, that being Soprano, because she is my nap of this weekend. Can't wait to see what she's going to be able to do in the distaff at Sandown at 3 o'clock over a mile. I just think this filly's been better than ever this season, undergoing wind surgery, building on a reappearance at Chelmsford to finish 3rd at Musselburgh, up to 7 furlongs. And again, last time out, her first go at a mile, handicap debut, as you said there, Chris, to win the Sandringham at Royal Ascot. Admittedly, she was well drawn. The reopposing Indelible can be marked up. She was on the wrong part of a track. But Soprano was also giving her £9 in that handicap. They're off of levels here, so I see that form being upheld. My next bet is going to be Tiffany then, to hopefully prove too tough for her rivals. Bringing up the 4-timer, well drawn and still won. And when Smart gets them on a roll, he's not afraid to run them, and they do tend to hold their form well as well. Now, dear old Yukon Glen then in the old Newton Cup handicap up at Haydock at 3:15. It's going to be the long shot, 20 to 1 for the now 11-year-old. Won last time out, getting back to winning ways. The first success since the 2nd of July in 2021 for Yukon Glen. But you go back through his previous previous form. And when he does win, he does tend to back it up on his next start. Not necessarily with another success, but he will run well on his next outing. So perhaps that confidence will be instilled again then in the old man of the party, dear old Yukon Glen, as my long shot. Now, just a reminder about those booths on the website. Make sure to head to there or to the QR code to take advantage of those. But that's everything from us on this week's show. So a big thank you to Dec, and of course then to Chris for standing in for Sam again as the super sub. So thank you so much to the lads for all of their hard work. A big thank you to you at home for watching. Best of luck with your bets this weekend, and we'll be back at the same time next week with a pick of the best of the action from Super Saturday.